And I hope that today we bring you the best. Mr. Banteh is a family man, a devoted family man whose love for the family and love for culture, love for his people is always at the forefront of his doings. Whatever thing he does, he put all these in front. I know him personally as a friend. I know him as a brother. I know him as a community person, a person who will be there when you need him. This is to the population of Minnesota. The person who will be there, Mr. Banteh, is the person who will be there if you want him to. I remember during his leadership role in BFU USA Minnesota chapter, he was there for the people of Bowie. He has always been there. And I think he is still there for his people, the Bowie people in Minnesota. He championed the lead position BFU Minnesota chapter played in being #1 donor to the MINCAM cause during the acquisition of the CCC hall. If you ask my opinion, and especially about BB, Mr. Brendan Banteh, I will tell you without hesitation, he is the right person to be president for MINCAM. Now I will bring to you Mr. Banteh. Mr. Banteh, you are welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for this invitation to participate in this Meet the Press session that is happening this Sunday late afternoon.
Okay, yes, Mr. Banteh, without wasting time, can you tell us about yourself? And let me just ask you straight, who is BB?
Thank you. You did a fantastic job with that introduction. I couldn't have done that myself. And so I think I may have so many titles, but the one that I love the most is BB the Dad. There is no greater joy for me than the joy of being a father to my amazing 4 girls, and seeing them grow. But like you rightly said, to me, family is really critical. Family begins everything we do. It begets everything. And so it starts from the family, then it goes to the community, right? It goes to the smaller village, then it goes to the bigger community, then it goes to how we interact with each other, and then how we can transform our interactions that then helps, make our lives and the lives of the people we impact better. So I see myself and the friendship I've shared with you and the friendships I share with this community and the impact that what we can do together to start really from the family. So if you ask me, who is BB? BB is the family guy who loves to see people happy, who loves to bring transformational change wherever he goes, and who's always at the service of the community, beginning again from my family.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Dave. This is a special program that we are bringing, and I'm happy that you accepted to come to my platform to put things straight for something that you are about to do. And for MINCAM, I understand you are running for president of MINCAM. There are newcomers, people who don't know about MINCAM. What is MINCAM?
Thank you. That's a fantastic question. Right, MINCAM is really an organization for Minnesota Cameroonians, people who have their heritage in Cameroon. Now, it started off as MINCAM Cameroonian, but it seems like now the Minnesota now is a little bit of a misnomer because our people have extended to Wisconsin, right in the right down in Rochester. We have a huge Cameroonian population down there. In fact, we collaborate very well with our people in next door La Crosse. So in a sense, this umbrella organization brings together the cultural alumni organizations that have been in this town for quite a while. I mean, they existed before the formation of MINCAM. So they brought in these cultural organizations together to help formulate a bigger organization, umbrella organization called MINCAM, because there is power in numbers. And the idea was so that when we come together as people from one place, we can advocate, we can do more for ourselves. You know, like they say, united, right, we stand, right? There is power in unity. And so that is really foundational to MINCAM, really, to promulgate the activities and things that benefit Minnesota Cameroonians, right? That is critical. And unity is critical as the number one goal. If you read the MINCAM bylaws, that's really number one goal. Unite Cameroonians in Minnesota. And this time I would say, as well as next door Wisconsin, for the common good of all here as we start, for many people who are starting their lives here in the US, as they begin their lives here. For those who are already here, make it a village because this is home for our kids and our grandkids. Many people are already having those in this country.
Yeah, thank you very much. And talking about MINCAM, understanding the states of affairs in the Cameroons and in the world, what is the state of MINCAM now?
MINCAM continued to be that organization that is the umbrella organization for Minnesota Cameroonians. There may be a question around, what is the role of MINCAM right now in the current crises that are plaguing us as immigrants here, the crises that are plaguing our homeland. Where does MINCAM find itself? And I think this is the pivotal role for that unity that I mentioned that is foundational to MINCAM. That at this point in time, we are better off united because as a united people, we can advocate for the causes that affect us, especially at a time when immigrants and immigration has been demonized. We need to come out strongly to advocate for that. We need to come out strongly to advocate for peace because there are many people living here in the Twin Cities area, in all of Minnesota and even Wisconsin and across the world, and that is what you said, who may not be able to go back to Cameroon. The Cameroon that many of them left a decade ago is no longer the Cameroon that exists now. So what is the place of MINCAM today? The place of MINCAM is that MINCAM that is helping to bring about the advocacy that we need today for our lives here in the United States and around the world, wherever we are in the diaspora, and for peace back home, where people can take their kids and go visit without fear or favor.
Okay, thank you for that. I understand. Yeah, let me restate the purpose of this special program that we are broadcasting today. I understand you are running for president to be president of MINCAM. There has been some disagreement, some confusion, some talk and some counter talks about the constitutionality of the elections. Are these elections still going to hold? Are the MINCAM elections still going to hold as prescribed?
The answer is, at this time, yes. The elections are moving forward, but you are right. There's been actually three schools of thought. The first school of thought is that the elections should be postponed. There is a second school of thought that would like for a rep assembly meeting to be held to regularize what is being viewed as the constitutional violations surrounding this election. And then there's another school of thought that is holding firm for the elections to proceed as is. Now, the question is, why is there this confusion? I think that is what your question is. And I would like to throw some light there. And I want to clarify, I am not an officer of MINCAM. I am running to become an officer. I'm running for the president of MINCAM to become an officer of MINCAM. So my comments are the comments of a candidate who is running for the president of MINCAM, and also the comments coming from a member of MINCAM, a registered member of MINCAM, and someone who has had the privilege of representing BFU, like you rightly said, in MINCAM Rep Assembly. So, question, why is there confusion? The confusion is coming from the way MINCAM Independent Electoral Commission or Committee was set up. This is the organ that organizes MINCAM elections. So there was a meeting, and I'm lucky to have been part of that meeting representing BFU, at which the chairperson of the Rep Assembly chaired and talked about the elections. And according to those who were there at the meeting, and according to the communications that have gone out, he was charged with creating MAIC. Now, the confusion is coming from the fact that whether he was charged with creating MAIC and bringing that back to the Rep Assembly, or was he charged with creating MAIC and then just sending them out and say, okay, here are the people who are going to take care of this election. Now, why are people confused with this? And a couple of things that have happened. The chairperson of the Rep Assembly, and I need to clarify again for those who don't know the way MINCAM is set up, this Rep Assembly is in charge of creating MAIC that supervises elections. The Rep Assembly is the constitutional court of MINCAM. So when MAIC was created, the chairperson of the Rep Assembly decided to run for office. So the MAIC that he created was then going to supervise the elections he's running in. Now, I cannot comment on his intention. I cannot say whether at the time he was creating MAIC, he knew already he was going to run for elections or not. But there is a question mark there as to his intent on not recusing himself from creating an organ that was going to supervise, or is going to supervise the elections in which he's running in. The second point, when he created MAIC, the argument is he should have presented that to the Rep Assembly for confirmation. That did not happen. And so there is a question mark there. Now, the third thing is, after creating MAIC and realizing now that he was running for elections, he waited until the 1st of August to now leave the Rep Assembly. So between the time he created MAIC and the time he left office, he was overseeing the activities of an organ that is running the elections he's running in. Does that sound familiar to you? Are we reliving? Is this Cameroon, right? Does it sound familiar to you? So that is the confusion that people are facing around this time and about these elections that are happening.
Yes, thank you for that explanation. If I got you correctly, the person that created the organ to organize election is your opponent in this election.
He is my opponent in this election.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
If he's your opponent, there's something that caught my attention about him. I will read it to you. I understand this means of broadcasting. We were not able to bring it there. I should have put it on the screen for the people to say. And this is about, you are talking of Mr. Waters' document. He says, he titles it Excellence versus Mediocrity. And he says, these are the choices, and he asks the people to choose wisely. And then he writes something there. This is a screenshot of what he wrote. He says, MINCAM is bigger than a cultural organization. We must take our organization to the next level. We must become bigger than we have ever been, greater in spirit and larger in outlook. Now, is there something he missed here? Because when I read it, I feel like he missed something. And if there is something that he missed, what are you bringing to the table as opposed to what he missed in this statement?
All right. Thank you. Actually, that is a very good thing to bring up. He does say his motto is restoring MINCAM. And then, yes, excellence versus mediocrity. And I found that very interesting, right? That is actually, a very good quote to use there. This meeting with you today really is it's about what I'm bringing to the table, and I will make a few comments about my opponent, and then we'll move on. The first thing is that I have great respect for him as a person. I have worked with him. He's done the best he can for the organization that we have today. He has been the officer of this MINCAM Rep Assembly as a secretary for a long time, I think beginning in 2012. Then he took over the office as the Rep Assembly chairperson. And his office is his term is supposed to run till October this year. Now, let me take point by point. His motto is restoring MINCAM. Restoring MINCAM from where? From what? That's the first question. Because he is symptomatic of the problems that MINCAM has got today. Why has he waited this long to try to restore MINCAM? He had an opportunity in 2012 to act on behalf of MINCAM, to demonstrate his capability to bring MINCAM greater than what it is today. So what he's saying is that he failed because he's trying to restore MINCAM from something else. So that has not happened. That's admission of failure, which is okay. We fail and then we get up and then we move forward. The second thing there, he's saying excellence versus mediocrity. Excellence is then him and mediocrity is me. There is one thing I cannot do. I will never call my opponent a mediocre. I can say he tried his best and it did not work out. That doesn't make him a mediocre. But in my professional as well as academic life, if there's one thing I've never been called is a mediocre person. So, and I have put my actions out there and I say, let the history speak for itself. And what is the history as we notice? What does data say? That's what I always say at my own day job. What does the data say? The data says that MINCAM today, under his leadership, has failed the people. Not him. He tried his best, but the best, MINCAM is better than this. It's better than what he was offering. And so it is about the past versus the future. And one thing he says there very clearly is that MINCAM is bigger than a cultural organization. Is he saying that culture doesn't count? You see, I'm dressed here with this and for a reason. What makes MINCAM MINCAM is culture. What makes MINCAM MINCAM is our culture. MINCAM was founded by cultural organizations. That is foundational to MINCAM. He was the chairperson of the MINCAM Rep Assembly of cultural organizations. If he so much undervalues culture, there is no doubt why the Rep Assembly has failed, MINCAM has failed us, because its chairperson doesn't value culture. I do. See, this is me. This is what I call my personal brand. You can have a Steve Jobs, who is like my, admirer, and like he's like an idol. He has the turtleneck that he wears. This is my personal brand. This brand is my culture. My culture is my identity. When you see me with the stick, and you see this, and you see me like this, this is me. This is Brendan. This is nothing fake. I am not using culture as a prop. Culture is critical to me. It's critical to our people who are living here. It's critical to everything we do. So to try to minimize culture is, to me, it's sacrosanct. Culture is it's beyond words to me. And let me just end that segment by saying I want to thank him for the sacrifices he made for this organization. I like people like him to try to do their best, but sometimes you try to do your best and it's not good enough. Now, that doesn't make him a mediocre. It just makes him someone who tried and it didn't work out. And that is why we are moving forward. We're saying, let bygone be bygone. Let history that has failed us stay history, and we move forward with change. And that is what my motto is. Together we can. Together we can. We can bring the change we are looking for.
Thank you. We're going to come to that, your motto. Let's take it this way. Many people who are watching us, who are listening to us now, might be asking us or asking themselves, Mr. Bibi, why are you running for MINCAM president?
Good question. I will go back to what you just you started by saying. my activities with you, and you were instrumental when I was the president of DFU, and you are still instrumental in the humanitarian things that I do with you, right? Because we continue to do that. We continue to work hard for our community here in Minnesota, as well as our communities, back home. And I enjoy the collaboration we've had. So why am I running? I am running for the MINCAM president to become that servant. I have always been the servant of MINCAM. The past few flyers have demonstrated a history of advocacy and a history of service. A service to an organization that I believe is critical to us at this point in time. Let me take us historically. We right now are at the crossroads at which every action we take or don't take today is going to affect who we are tomorrow. From the way we are raising our kids here, from the kind of village we are creating here for our families, to how we are revamping ourselves, rebranding ourselves, changing jobs, and trying to make a better life is going to affect us. So I am running for president of MINCAM so that together we can have a united MINCAM that works for us, not us working for MINCAM. I want to transform this organization and bring it back to where it was, take us back to the roots. The roots of MINCAM was for an organization that is united for a common good. What is that common good? That's the question. The common good that I see is a MINCAM where we continue to celebrate our culture in the MINCAM annual cultural weekend. We continue to celebrate academic excellence. These are the things we've already been doing, and we love them. All right? We continue to celebrate the achievement, the children's party, the Christmas party, all those things that we've been doing, the soccer, all those things that we've been doing. But move it a step further. For those who are just arriving, we bring in new programs, services. The first one to me is called Helping Hands. Can we together help ourselves? Those who are just arriving here, can we have a legal clinic for refugees arriving from Cameroon where they can go and get legal advice and get resources on who would be the best person to submit their case as a refugee or somebody seeking asylum? This is critical to our people arriving here, where they can find free goods, whether it is gently used winter jackets, gently used pots, dressers, beds, mattresses, and get those things without having to pay a dime because they are donated by MINCAM members. It is a MINCAM that works for its people in that we have mentorship. For those who are trying to change jobs, we have somebody who is in IT. You want to go to IT, there's somebody for you. You are trying to become an engineer, there's somebody for you. You want to enroll and change your life and become a medical doctor, there's somebody for you. You want to figure out how your kids are going to go to college, what tutoring, there is a program for you. There are career fairs. There are things, right, that people can really be proud of. Because if MINCAM is not working for us, who wants to be in part of an organization that doesn't give back?
Mr. Bibi, you have been meeting the people, meeting them one-on-one, meeting them in groups. I understand you've met some in their cultural groups. And meeting all these people, your message has been together we can. Can you explain that to our viewers now?
That is very true. Thank you. Thank you. It's very dear to my heart, the place that togetherness play. And every time I am asking and I'm going to see the people, I'm saying, I am not coming here because I'm coming to ask for votes. I'm coming to you because I've been there together with you. Historically, when they've done their fundraisers, I've been there. When they've had events, I've been there. I'm not new. I'm coming and saying, please, let's come back together. Together we can reformulate, we can rebrand, we can re-envision MINCAM. Yes, MINCAM has become anathema to many people. It is that word that nobody wants to hear. So together we can reform this organization to whatever we want it to be. And as their servant, I am not the person to dictate. I don't know it all. That's why I keep saying together, because it's going to take many heads. It's going to take the many hands before we can tie this bundle that is called MINCAM. The ask I make in my Together We Can platform is, if you are voting for me, you are making an investment of yourself for 3 years. So you are voting and committing that I will be there at least for 3 years, because let me be very clear, I'm a one-term president. I'm running for one term. That's the discussion I've had with my wife. And we talked about it before I put in my candidacy. And I said, I would like to, if I were to win, okay, it's going to be a lot of work, but I would be there for 3 years. And I'm asking anybody who's joining me to know, we are not casting a vote to cast and go away. So that is my message to these cultural groups, that and I strongly believe in myself and in the message that I have, that we are there to choose me. If we're there to give me that privilege and honor to serve them, I will be coming back to them to say, okay, here are the strategic programs that I have. I want to work with the board for us to formulate those strategic plans, short-term, long-term, right? Short-term, medium-term, and long-term. And I have to bring that back to the people to say, here is where we are. Here is your role. All right. Every time I have something to say, I need to come back to the same groups so that we work together. It is critical to me, together, every step of the way for 3 years. And hopefully by my third year, they will see value in continuous support of MINCAM. That is our organization. It's not a Brendan organization. It's our organization. Thank you.
Yes, as a follow-up to your answer there, you made mention of many constituents not wanting to hear about MINCAM. Why is it that people don't want to hear about MINCAM, and how do you intend to change that perception?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. Like I said, I think I mentioned before that MINCAM has become anathema to many people. And to many people, when they hear MINCAM, they hear of this toxic organization that you need to stay away from if you want to maintain a certain sense of sanity. Which is something that I take very seriously. The question is, why is that? Why are people running away from MINCAM or finding MINCAM so toxic? It is the past. You cannot run away from history. The history we have is a history of our organization in which there's been so much infighting. There's been so much lack of inclusiveness. There's not been inclusiveness in MINCAM. And I can give you an example. For some people who are still even wondering, do they even belong to this organization? You have this election that I was just describing, in which the confusion about who is setting this up, and people not being very clear. There is no clarity of intent and purpose, drives people away. You have people who are putting their candidacy to run for an office of MINCAM, and then putting their candidacy to run for MINCAM under another person from their particular tribal area, which is antithetical to the bylaws of MINCAM. We have a MINCAM at which people don't even feel like the bylaws matter, right? So we have a MINCAM at which has not worked for people. A MINCAM always is coming to ask people for money. There's another fundraiser. It's another fundraiser, another fundraiser. And people don't see what is happening. When is this going to end? When will MINCAM be an organization that works for us and not us for the organization? So there's been a lot of infighting between the board and the executive, infighting between the executive and the board, and then the rep assembly. Remember, the chairperson that is my opponent, who has been the chair, very instrumental in the MINCAM rep assembly, is running on a platform to restore MINCAM. From what? So there is that admission that MINCAM has really not worked, and many people don't want to hear about MINCAM. So what am I doing? My journey begins with the people, the roots. We know what these problems are. We need to be inclusive. There is no bigger Cameroonian, there is no greater Cameroonian than another person. That's what somebody told me. When somebody looked at the current setup of MAIC, the members there, and said, these people seem like they are only from one area. And the person was like, and the person is from another region, and they said, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, is there a particular region that is more Cameroon than another region? And I said, well, I don't have an answer for that, because the answer of course is no. There is no one person or group of people who feel like they are more Cameroonian than another set of people. So that created a cloud of misgiving and lack of inclusiveness in the way MINCAM is operating. We are one organization that is made up of cultural and alumni organizations from the northern regions, the southern region, the west of the Mungu, all over. I have visited these regions, all of them. up to date. I've visited all of them. That is my platform. Inclusiveness. When people are included and they feel like they have a stake in MINCAM, they will be there. We will diagnose these problems and get them resolved together.
Yeah, thank you there, Mr. Bibi. And there is this question that one of our viewers wants me to ask you. In your answers, you are mentioning Cameroon. And when we talk of MINCAM, it means Cameroonians in Minnesota, in the United States of America. There are a large number of people in Minnesota here from this geographical background who don't want to hear the word Cameroon. Do you have a place for them in MINCAM? And if yes, how will you reconcile between these people and MINCAM that is bearing the word Cameroon?
I think that's a good question. It's a good concern, right? There are a lot of kind of we would call political undertones, right, to that question, which are have grounds and they have their roots in the current socio-political and economic situation that is in our home country. Make no mistake about it. Those who have those concerns, they are genuine and valid concerns. MINCAM is a non-political, it's an apolitical organization. Okay. Now, while it is true that people are going to have feelings and Brendan alone cannot change how people feel about stuff, BB, my platform, and together with people, we can look at, okay, what are we doing for us as a people, irrespective of what the name is, that works for us? Because when you think of the Cameroon that they're talking about, right, and that they are not happy with, whether you are from west of Mongo or east of the Mongo, Cameroon as an entity is failing its people. Because think about what just happened in Cameroon, in which many people from from west of the Mongo, from our western part of the country, they felt like the elections were stolen. That Kamto lost the election were stolen, and when they were demonstrating, they were locked up. I'm talking about the freedom to even advocate. Freedom. Freedom is freedom everywhere in the world. Everybody is yearning for that. The freedom to advocate has been denied many Cameroonians. The freedom to even survive, the freedom to live a life that is worthy of a good life, the freedom to be successful, the freedom of speech, and these many, many freedoms. I just described one scenario here. You've been with me long enough to know I can cite many. I wanted to cite that one because it touches the other side of the side of the Mongo. But on the opposite side of the Mongo, you have got a crisis that is happening now, right now, in which personally, and I have to be very upfront here, I cannot be able to go back to Cameroon. So what is Cameroon doing for me? Why should I even worry about Cameroon? This is not about Cameroon as we know it. This is about MINCAM. Can MINCAM advocate for peace? Can we together, east and west of the Mongo, advocate for freedom, for peace in our home country? I believe we are stronger together. We are stronger together. And when we start doing those kind of advocacy, those who, and they are bearing roots, those who feel like, I'm not sure about this Cameroon thing, they will start seeing the fruits of our labor, and that will begin to change their minds. I know this is a very, I'm dancing here on the kind of the, delicate line here between coming up as a political being, and I'm a political animal, and being a person who has to be very upfront about what the rule of MINCAM is. And the rule of MINCAM is it's a political organization that can advocate for peace and freedoms for peoples in the Cameroons, whatever your political affiliation or your beliefs are, and your cultural backgrounds are. All of this come together to make us one, and together we can advocate for the causes that we care about.
Thank you, Bibi. Yeah, we talked about the current situation in the Cameroons and what is happening there. Now, let's look at the world at large. We are from Africa, and when you are from Africa, you are black. So we are black people. Black Lives Matter is now a major revolution and a huge wake-up call for everyone in in this country that we live in and in the world, where does MINCAM fit in here?
I think that's a fantastic question, and you have so many good questions there. All questions you've been doing this for so long, and I can attest to the set of questions you're asking, and this one is really quite topical in the sense that the Black Lives Matter moment is so huge and it is so close to my heart. I live out here in Eden Prairie, and let me start by saying that my daughter has made signs, Black Lives Matter signs, and put them around our property, right, around our cul-de-sac. One as right, coming in and one directly in front, handmade signs. And when she made those signs, my opposite neighbor, who of course doesn't look like you and I, actually ordered his own sign and put right there in front of his house. So that charity begins at home. That's why I'm bringing that story. Where does MINCAM fit in? MINCAM fits in us being part of this initiative, not isolated. We need to be there when it is happening, not after the fact. I don't subscribe to a MINCAM that separates itself to go and do an event that is separate from the general public. We need to contribute actively to the revolution. How? Were we to want to do an event that is an advocacy event, it needs to be broad-based. We need to involve our African American born here, okay, involve our African American brothers. We need to involve people who don't look like you and I. They need to be part of it. Now, when there is an event that is happening, a duly constituted event that is happening about this movement, I see us coming out with our cultural dances and standing up for Black Lives Matter, because that is when we get recognized as being part of. The last event I participated in, I was there with Ilhan Omar, who just won the primary. This is how I was dressed. It wasn't a stunt. I've been going to these events. I was there when we were doing the refugee event in 2018. And this is me. This is the person you will see. And it made an impact because the way our culture makes us, it distinguishes us from the crowd. And when we are part of it, the people are feeling we are working arm in arm. That is the change I foresee. Arm in arm. With people who don't look like us, with people who look like us, with the red, the brown, the purple, the yellow, get the entire color spectrum.
Yeah, thank you, there,
Mr.
Bibi. Thank you for that explanation. Let us go specific again back to MINCAM. I know we've rerouted to the Cameroons, and we've come to the entire America. Let's go back to MINCAM. What do you foresee as the future of MINCAM under your leadership if you win these elections?
Now, I would rather say when I win this election, I call it one of my greatest, you may call it weaknesses, my boundless optimism, right? The optimism for the greater good, because I believe that our people can distinguish between, I'm going to use the words of my opponent, between excellence and mediocrity. I want to use his words, right? When they put the 2 and 2 together, they will determine who has been there historically, volunteering day in, day out for MINCAM up to today, that I've decided to actually throw my heart in as I'm running. So a MINCAM with Brendan as its servant is a MINCAM that is inclusive. A MINCAM in which there is no particular group or set of persons that are feeling left out. Young, old, north, south, east, west is an MINCAM that brings back, again, from my platform, you will see, brings back unity in community. The unity that is the first goal in our bylaws. That is the #1 goal. And how do we do this? By door-to-door inclusion, group to group, like I've already been doing. So that when we come together, great things will happen. We will be able to bring in Congressman Ilhan Omar, just like we brought in Keith Ellison. I was there on the 3rd of January 2015 when he visited us in this beautiful building you find behind that you put so nicely, right, on as your backdrop there. I was there. That's the kind of MINCAM that advocacy reigns, helping hands reigns, there is mentorship, there are programs for those who are arriving, there are programs for those who are already here. There's a future that we can both work towards. Clarity of purpose.
Oh, thank you there. Yeah, you talk about my background, and my next question ties to that because I have to put that background. That is the MINCAM hall that all Cameroonians came together and fought. That's the background I have here. I wish there was a way I can turn so that our viewers can see this background, this hall, this beautiful hall. Yes, Mr. Bibi, what is the future, or what will be the future of this hall under your leadership?
You see, that's a beautiful question. You see, that hall, there is a lot of emotions that comes with that hall. A lot of emotions. Personally, I have a lot of emotions. And you in your introduction, you said, under my leadership as the president of the BAV USA, we came together and we were the highest donor. That is the record. I've had people try to challenge that record, and it's like we're trying to rewrite history. So that is to say that me as a person and you, Mr. Soyune, you are playing a role in it. And many people have played a big role in even sustaining that building. And that is the work. We've just been trying to keep that building, just to coming to the people and asking for money to just keep the building. So it's the building, right, in which we are using the lobby for our events, right? So we have a building, a huge building, and we're using the lobby. And we've been using the lobby since we got it, right? Yes, board meetings do take place in there. And what has happened is that over the years, data, I love data, numbers don't lie, shows that there is a pattern of us going back to the community time and time again. After the capital campaign that we did, door to door, park to park, let me remind our MINCAMers out there, our amazing people, that when we talk of the money that BAV donated, it was not BAV that just got the money out of its coffers. One huge event that we did was the community came together in an event that I served as the organizer, as the president of BAV, to put together in Egan. The community came together, there was barbecue, music, good drinks, and we raised money. So what I'm saying is, we did all of that for this building, but this building has not done things back to us. What has this building done for us? It's become a monkey on our back. So what does the data say? The data says, we need an event center. This building is not an event center. Get rid of this building and get us an event center. That is my personal opinion. Of course, I will have to revisit with the groups and do a poll, group by group, to sell my idea of us getting rid of this building and getting an event center that can have a stage, a proscenium stage with maybe 500 people as the banquet hall, then have other smaller halls that people can have their Monday meetings, and probably have like a bar and grill where we can go and eat watafufu and arrow and eat achu and all of this good stuff, you know, and this other, you know. So that is the event center that I have in mind. I know I can go on and on, my brother, but you know that this building has not served us. That is where I'm coming from.
Yeah, thank you. Let me remind our viewers again why we are here. This is a special broadcast, and I am here with BB Brendan Banteh, who is candidate for MINCAM election. Mr. Banteh, when are the elections and what does it take to vote?
The elections are next week. The elections are on Saturday, the 22nd. They will be from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, to be able to vote, you need to be a member. To become a member, you need to pay your registration fee of $20. There is already information that is being circulated in many chat groups, in many social groups online. Unfortunately, the technology did not work for us to be able to put that on the screen. I know we started a little bit late because we were trying to work on that technology to be able to have viewers get that information very clearly. But anyone who is looking for how to register, you only need to contact who your cultural group president is to find out, right? There is a cash app number that they're using. There's a financial, the treasurer is Mr. Tilong. You pay the $20 to Mr. Tilong, Then you take a snapshot of the receipt and you send it to Mr. C. Formolo, who is the financial secretary, and then your name is on the list. Now, safety precautions are being taken. I want to emphasize this. This is an era of COVID-19. Safety precautions are being taken to ensure that people are doing this safely and securely. They will be driving up when you are verified to be on the list. And remember, you can register on the spot. If you don't know how to register right now, don't worry about it. All you need to do is drive to the Cameroon Community Center, and you can register on the spot, and they will give you the ballot for you to cast your vote in kind of a drive-through fashion. 11 a.m., 5 p.m., Saturday, August 22nd.
Yeah, yes, that said, you know, somebody like me, I am very busy, and I might not have time to go all through those gymnastics. Or there might be an elderly person who doesn't know that technology of Cash App, doing this and doing that. Is there any same-day register, same-day vote?
Absolutely. You go, just bring your 20 bucks, and they will take the money right there. You register. Minnesota law allows for same-day registration. That's Minnesota law. So, you know, MINCAM is in Minnesota, and we will be remiss if we were not to allow for same-day registration. So, yes, you can bring cash, register, and vote in one fair swoop.
Oh, thank you there. And that brings us almost to the end of this special broadcast that we are bringing, particularly for the Cameroonians in Minnesota. Mr. Banteh, your last word to voters, please.
I want to first of all thank you for bringing me to your platform, Mr. Nsoyene. This has been fantastic chatting with you and getting to respond to those questions. So thank you, really, from the bottom of my heart. I also want to thank our constituents out there, the MINCAMers, or those who are even still wondering whether they should be part of this, for tuning in. You know, you could have been busy doing something else and you decided to log in. Again, I want to apologize for the late start. The technology could not allow that, and for those of you who are already dealing with setting meetings on Zoom, things online, you know how that works out. But again, you logged in. So for that, I say thank you. Thank you for joining in to listen to me, for giving me your time. I am hoping that you can give me your votes. Why? Because together we can. Together, if you were to look at my history, a history of advocacy, a history of service, a history that has taken our culture even to Native Americans. Many people don't, they look at this thing and like, why is Brendan always holding this? This was given to me by the Quileute people of La Poche in Washington State on the Pacific Ocean. They also put this on me. That was in 2014. That's when that happened. And I was in their secret circle presenting our culture and being part of their world and sharing and coming together with them as one people to do good. Take that up to 2020. I have been there. You know me. I have been there with you all along the way. I am saying today, I have come to you to say, can you reaffirm your faith in someone who has rendered the kind of services always there to help do things right, so that together we truly rebuild MINCAM from the ground up. Rebuild MINCAM from the ground up. Go back to the roots that our forefathers laid out. I cannot end this without giving a shout out to those founding fathers that made today possible for me to even want to run. Those who have been presidents before me, those who have sacrificed before me, those who have volunteered in some way, thank you. Thank you for being there for MINCAM. Please don't leave this ship. It hasn't sunk yet. It is worth saving. Together we can save it. One last thing, continue to be safe. COVID-19 is not going to be here forever. Stay safe with your families. Be there for your families. Take safety precautions so that tomorrow we come out of this more resilient and more stronger than, kind of stronger than ever, to rebuild our lives and the lives of our community as one people. So Mr. Soyini, thank you, sir. I really appreciate this opportunity to reach our people directly through this medium.
Thank you, Mr. Bibi. The pleasure is mine having you accepted to come to our platform and clarify certain things, especially some of our people who are saying that there is this commotion going on back home and we are still running for something that has Cameroon in it. Thank you for that clarification. And to our viewers, I will say thank you all for being there. You've gotten the message. Please, you share it. Those of us who are in Minnesota should make sure that we register and vote. You've heard it from Bibi himself. If you can do the gymnastic of Cash App, the gymnastic of this new technology that we have nowadays, you can register same day and vote same day. Thank you all. And we will end this with this, our music. Mr. Banteh, it's been a pleasure having you. I hope you come again, especially after the election with the success, to tell our people that we made it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.